Hey Soul Sisters, it's Pam. Welcome to another Dear Pam episode. This one comes from a sister who says, how can we totally rest and respect the Sabbath day with so many activities and chores that need to be taken care of? And sister, I hear you, because I think that would be a common struggle for every woman who is listening to this. But I have two words for you today. And we cannot have this conversation without looking in Scripture. So let's go ahead and jump into what the Lord has to say about the Sabbath. Welcome to the Soul Sister Podcast with Pam Bailey. Grab a cup of coffee, sister, and let's sit and chat about all of the things that lead us to a Christ-centered life full of purpose and joy. When we take a look at Genesis chapter 2, we begin chapter 2 with God instituting the Sabbath, and he says in his word, thus the heavens and the earth were finished and all the host of them, and on the seventh day God rested his work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. Okay, 3 times there, all the work that he had done, all the work that he had done, all the work that he had done. God rested on the seventh day. And then we flip over to Exodus, where God gave for the law how he wanted the Sabbath to look for his people. This is chapter 20 of Exodus. Remember, Moses is on the mountain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. So we see here that God made the Sabbath. God instituted the Sabbath, told us to follow it, set it up as an example for us. He said, I want you to follow it. This is what it looks like. Let's get some rest done. And we legitimately struggle with that. And so when my sister asked, how do I respect that and how do I keep it holy? There are several things that we need to talk about here. And there's 2 words. The 2 words are prepare and be intentional. Okay? So we have preparation and we have intentionality. Let's unpack what that means. In order for the people of God in the Old Testament to have a true day of rest, they had to prepare for that. And so all throughout the week, they were doing things to prepare for a day of nothing. Now, God didn't say on that day of nothing that you needed to fast. So most people eat also during the Sabbath. So there would be food that needed to be fixed, but you weren't supposed to cook it. And so there needs to be a little bit of preparation. One of the most ingenious things that ever happened to us in the last 100 years was the crock pot. And so maybe we need to rename the crock pot to the Sabbath pot. And, we prepare what's going in this pot for the Sabbath. And then on that day, we just eat the good of the crock pot. And I say that lightly, but this is an example of preparing. For you to take a true day of rest, you have to prepare. I'm a mom with 4 boys, and I have to be honest, sometimes our weekends feel just as intense as the weeks do. And my kids love to play community sports, and I'm all about it. But there are times that I have to say, you know what, today is a no day for us. And no, we can't play another round of fun soccer. And no, we can't go hang out at your house, and we can't do all these things. And sometimes it seems like we're just being distant or being rude. We're not. My husband and I are being intentional, second word, about preparing our kids to rest. I need it. My husband needs it. The boys need it. And so we are teaching them that rest is important, but rest is also something that God feels vitally important for our lives. Otherwise, he would have never instituted that in creation or reminded us in Exodus how important it was. We even saw that Jesus himself partook in the Sabbath. So, ladies, this is just something that we need to accept. Rest is a part of our spiritual development, our physical development, our mental development. We need that in order to thrive and to flourish. So you need to prepare in whatever way necessary to make 1 out of 7 days every week a rest day. And understand that people work different schedules. I'm not saying that it has to be on a Sunday or a Saturday, but 1 out of every 7 days needs to be a day of rest, and you need to prepare for that. You also need to be intentional about it. And so you have to say no to some things. No, I cannot go to your party. No, I cannot do a lunch date. No, the list goes on and on. No, I can't go shopping on the big shopping spree. You need to be intentional about your day of rest and understanding how important it is for your whole well being. And so, if you're intentional about making that day of rest for worship of God and His creation and for resting your body, your soul, then I promise you it will become easier and easier. Now, I like to take vacations. One would say that the whole 7 days I'm on vacation is a rest, but it's not always that way as a mom. And so I get that often, like maybe on the seventh day, it doesn't work out for you. Like, sisters, don't get so wrapped up in religious law. And that's what Jesus was saying when the Pharisees tried to come at him. Look, we still got to eat on the day. Like we're going to have some food. So don't get so bogged down with being legalistic. Like that was not the point of God creating the Sabbath and saying that the Sabbath is holy. That's not the point. The point is that you are just prepared and intentional about being restful, and restful, just slowing down, sisters, just worshiping God. Recognizing that you are not Superwoman. You can't do everything all the time and be all the things for all the people. But just like your Creator, you take a day, see that all the work is done and it's good, and you say, I'm going to chill out. This is just a way to reset your body and to stay focused on God the Creator. So we're going to be prepared. We're going to be intentional. We're not going to be legalistic. Make it a priority to spend time in the Sabbath. Sisters, thank you for following this Dear Pam episode. I would love it if you could like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to submit your Dear Pam questions. And as always, just remember to keep worshiping and finding joy in every moment.